What's up, guys? My name's Kalechi. You can call me Coach K. And the reason why you clicked on this video is because you want to get lean. You want to get a six pack, you want to get abs, you want to melt that body fat, and you want to get that summer body so you're ready for the beach. Now, it's definitely possible to drop that body fat and to do it quickly as well. It's possible to drop 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds. As long as you have a good system and a good structure in place and you stay consistent, you can definitely drop that body fat and get lean. It's very possible if you know what you're doing. So for today's video, I want to give you guys some insight on how to get the body that you want specifically. So the focus of the video today is that a calorie deficit just isn't enough. And I know you're probably thinking, hold on, everyone's told me that as long as I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm gonna lose weight. And well, they're right, you will lose weight. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will lose fat. There's a difference between weight and fat, right? You can lose water weight, you can lose muscle, which is probably not what you wanna do. Or you can lose body fat, and burning that body fat is what's gonna get you that chiseled, lean look with the V-taper. So you do have to be in a calorie deficit, however, it's not enough. So what is the missing element? What I need you guys to understand and what I want to share with you guys is that you can lose weight, you can lose a lot of weight and still not have the body that you want. Now, if you are putting in that work and the scale's coming down, you want to make sure that your hard work is paying off, right? The last thing you want is to put in all this effort into your fitness journey, and just because you didn't have the right information, now instead of having that lean and tailored look that you want, you end up skinny fat. Now, if you don't know what skinny fat looks like, this is what skinny fat looks like. So how this occurs, what happens is that people will be in a calorie deficit, right? They'll be following a diet. However, it's not enough to follow a diet. You need to make sure that you're hitting your proper macronutrients, right? It's not just about dropping your calories. Your body needs to have the right nutrients in order for you to have that body that you want, right? So when it comes to a lean and chiseled look, you need muscle mass to achieve that look. And when you're dropping weight, right, when you are in a calorie deficit, you have to signal to your body that it's okay to preserve your muscle mass. You have to signal to your body and tell your body that you need to preserve that muscle mass. And how you go about doing that, first and foremost, the most important thing is obviously going to be diet. And you do that by making sure you have enough protein in your diet. You need enough amino acids in your diet in order to maintain your muscle mass. See, muscle is your ally, okay? If you're on a fat loss journey and you're trying to lose fat, having more muscle mass will make it easier for you to burn fat. It will keep your metabolism high and it will help you get the physique that you want. But in order to preserve that muscle mass, there needs to be enough nutrients. See, when you lose the weight, there's a juggling act. See, the body's intelligent. It's going to do what's most efficient at that time. So if your body notices that you're in a caloric deficit, but there's not enough protein, what your body's going to do is it's going to start getting rid of your muscle mass to save energy because there's not enough nutrients there. But if there is enough protein, your body will hold on to the muscle mass and it will burn fat as you drop weight. So a good rule of thumb, so if you are going to be in a caloric deficit, you want to make sure that you are getting that protein so you can keep that muscle mass. A typical estimate is about 1 gram of protein per pound of body fat. For instance, if you weigh 210 pounds, you're going to want roughly about 210 grams of protein. What I like to do to make it easier for people, so that way they know that they are getting enough protein, is just to make sure that the bulk of your calories are coming from protein. I typically tell people anywhere from 50 to around 80% of your meal should be protein, whether that's chicken, fish, turkey, beef, eggs, whatever protein it is, you want to make sure that there's enough of that nutrient so that way your body can hold onto that muscle mass. Where you will go wrong and what causes you to be skinny fat is when you're in a caloric deficit and your carbohydrates are high throughout the day. The reason why that occurs is because it affects your hormones. It spikes your insulin, and when your insulin is high all day, your body can't access fat for energy. So it has to break down muscle mass. And obviously you're in a caloric deficit, so there's not going to be enough energy there to preserve your muscle mass. That's why a lot of people will recommend intermittent fasting. However, as long as you get enough protein in your diet, you will be okay. So just make sure that you are getting enough protein. That way you can avoid being skinny fat. And when that weight does come off, you will end up with a chiseled and lean physique. Obviously, don't neglect your strength training. You definitely want to keep that up. As the saying goes, use it or lose it. So make sure you use your muscles. So the most common thing to do, and probably the most simplest thing to do, is to do compound exercises about twice a week. There's plenty of different exercises out there on YouTube that you can find. But again, just make sure that you stimulate your muscles with the strength training, and also make sure that your protein numbers are high enough. That way your body will hold on to that muscle mass, and when you do cut that weight, you will end up with that lean and chiseled physique. If you need extra help figuring out a specific diet for you specifically, and you're unsure of where to start, just leave all your questions down in the comments. And if you need extra help, we do offer one-on-one coaching. Easiest way to reach out to us is on WhatsApp, or you can click on the links on our channel. Again, if you want to have that lean look and you don't want to end up skinny fat, make sure you get your protein and make sure you do your exercises so you can hold on to that muscle mass. I hope this helps, and until next time, peace.